welcome to this special. I'm Shibani Gharat. Today, for the first time on the show, we have a very special guest, Sandhya Devanathan, Vice President and Head, Meta India. She's speaking to us about the new Meta story, Meta India platforms, Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, AI, Metaverse, privacy and much more. Sandhya, welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you so much for having me, Shibani.
Sandhya, clearly we have a lot to speak about, but first up, you have been heading the India market for the past couple of months. What has been the India market been like for you over the past couple of months?
Shibani, I was talking to someone the other day, and it's been like drinking from a fire hose, right? It's my 6th month now, so not a few months, more than a few months, but it's been really exciting to be back in the India market. And I'm Indian, I've come often, I've come back to the country, but coming back and working here again after many years has really sort of shown me the potential of, I think you have to be here to sort of understand what everyone's talking about, be it the crazy digital transformation and the growth that you're seeing in the country, or, you know, the role that we play as Meta in that story, right? So it's a really consequential role that Meta is playing in terms of how the hundreds of millions of people we connect. So I'm very aware of the privilege and the responsibility that comes with it. So really exciting, definitely a lot of work, but it's been a good 6 months.
So Meta story, the new Meta story and Meta India, I'm going to put a pin on this, come back to you later on this. But first up, we are meeting on the heels of WhatsApp launching first a global privacy campaign. Then, of course, an India campaign with Anushka Sharma. Tell us more about it and this entire focus on privacy.
WhatsApp, you know, from the word get-go, WhatsApp's DNA has always been about privacy, right? It's around creating safe spaces for people to communicate with each other, you and I sending each other a message that no one else will read except for the two of us, right? So encryption has been at the core of what WhatsApp has always stood for, and privacy has been that tenet, right, on which WhatsApp has been built. And over a period of time, what we've done is we've added multiple layers of privacy to WhatsApp. So if you think about the announcement that we made just last week, which was around silencing unknown callers, you don't want to get a call from someone you don't know, you can, with a flick of a button, turn it off. Or the work that we've done on privacy checkup, which is, I don't know if you've tried it, I did it. It was really easy and, you know, very intuitive in terms of the settings that you can make and how you control what you want people to see and how you control your WhatsApp experience. So I think, you know, those were 2 features we've launched, but that just builds on years of features that we've built for privacy on WhatsApp. And, you know, I'll give you some examples. The wrist is wrong, so I'll keep it short. Things like view once, which is you let people view a message just once. You can screen lock, so nobody can take screenshots of, you can lock a screenshot, so no one will take screenshots of your messages. Or, you know, disappearing messages, which turn off in 24 hours or 7 days. All of these are product features that we built, and they go back to the core tenet, which is we want users to have a really privacy-first experience on our platform and to feel really safe and secure, because we know as we connect hundreds of millions of people in India on WhatsApp, that you want to have an experience where you can have conversations that may be about really big things in life, but equally it could be about really small things, but you don't want the world to know about it. So that's like really core to the product and what we built.
Yeah, and also knowing India is like a WhatsApp first country. We all know that. Many people have started businesses on WhatsApp. You know, we communicate on WhatsApp as a platform. So what is Meta's focus on, you know, on WhatsApp in general?
In fact, I'm glad you asked that question, because I want to talk about the privacy campaign that we actually launched, which you talked about. I talked a lot about the privacy features, and I think a big part of our focus is making sure that users know that these features exist and that they have the control and that they can also sort of be in the driver's seat when it comes to having a safe and secure and private experience on our platform on WhatsApp. So this global campaign that you talked about, we launched last year. So this is the 2nd year in a row that we're running this campaign, and the campaign is really 2 parts. One is to talk about all the features that we have and to reiterate that these exist and increase user awareness, because we want people to know that. But equally, it's also to double down on our commitment to privacy. So I would say at the very core, that is the big part of what we're trying to do with the campaign. Coming closer home, what we've done with Anushka Sharma is, I don't know if have you seen it in Delhi?
I've seen it, yes.
Yeah, and you know, the campaign, the global activation of the campaign, the ad that talked about two sisters having a very deeply personal conversation was really around, you know, I have a sister and both of us, you know, chat about things that we wouldn't want anyone to know. So it sort of reiterated all the features we offer through a very nice emotive ad. And we took that one step further in India and talked about mirror images, which is an activation that we did in malls across Delhi with Anushka Sharma.
Yeah.
We chose Anushka Sharma because she's just strong woman, like has done some amazing women-led roles in Bollywood, and we thought she'd be like the perfect person to talk about what we're trying to do, which is, even as we're a private space, people can use that private space to have conversations and have people reach out to them and talk about issues, you know, safely. So a survey that we ran just a few months ago with YouGov talked about more than 2/3 of women actually not would talk about their issues that they faced if somebody reached out to them privately. You know, more than half of the women we surveyed said they talk about domestic abuse. Or close to half, 2/5, I think, would talk about domestic abuse if someone reached out to them privately. More than half would talk about mental health issues if someone reached out to them privately. So, and we think WhatsApp is that perfect place where you can have those private conversations. So the campaign was really around increasing awareness, you know, and giving people a safe space, so talking to them, empowering them to raise issues, and equally women being allies, reaching out to them and having that conversation. So the campaign really talks about what we've focused on, which is privacy and safe and secure spaces. Coming closer home to Meta India, I think when I think about what we're doing on WhatsApp here, there's a few things that we're focused on. Along with privacy and security features, we're thinking about things like building communities and channels. So we launched communities last year, and it's been really inspiring. I was there during the launch, actually. It happened in November, just after my announcement, and that was my early introduction to the power of WhatsApp and what communities can do. Communities basically are bringing groups together and align groups together. You know, we have doctors who are reaching out to far-flung places in India using communities. There's a project Step One that has a very active, involved WhatsApp community. Or Pinkish is a bunch of volunteers who've come together who want to raise menstrual awareness in villages in India. So you see those powerful communities, and that's a product that we're very proud of. Equally, I think we announced channels globally, and we're bringing that soon to India, which is a way for, you know, a safe, reliable, and private way for organizations and for people to broadcast.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's great. So I think for users, there's a slew of stuff you can do on WhatsApp.
What about businesses?
We talked about 200 million businesses being on WhatsApp, using the WhatsApp Business app. But closer home, we announced just yesterday that with WhatsApp, we partnered with Kate, which is a trading association which connects traders across the country. And we're going to train 10 lakh traders across the country on how to use WhatsApp for business. Because what we're seeing is people get that, you know, WhatsApp can be used very easily for safe communications between friends and family. Equally, what we're seeing organically is businesses using WhatsApp to communicate with their customers, or using it to launch new products, or expanding their market, especially women entrepreneurs. So one of the things that has an India lens to it is the WhatsApp Business app, which was born out of that need. We're very happy and pleased with how many businesses, small businesses, have come online. It's their first introduction to going digital. I think it really powers this whole digital transformation that we're seeing. And equally, I think, you know, Shivani, we talk about the various reports that say there'll be 400 million people who'll be consuming, who'll be internet consumers by 2025. I think a lot of them will do so not on an app first, because that's not their intuitive way of going digital or purchasing something online. I think they'll do it through a messaging app. And my bet would be on WhatsApp.
Let's hope that happens. Now, moving on, past few months, we all know have been tumultuous for the company. What was it like to, you know, join or, you know, take reins of the India market around this time? And what was your immediate mandate? How much of it has been achieved over the past 6-7 months?
6 months. This is my 6th month.
6 months.
Still the honeymoon period, as I call it. But I talked about, drinking off a fire hose. So definitely it's been equal parts exciting, but also equal parts challenging. But I would sort of pivot back to what we're doing as a company, which is really this year has been a year of efficiency. So we've taken a hard look as a company around how we become much more tech first. So we want to go back to our roots and become a much more tech first company, and while continuing to deliver the financial results that we do. So that's been the genesis of why we've had the year of efficiency, and that's definitely played out in India as well. I really remain excited about all the opportunities. So when you talked about the mandate really is how do we connect so many hundreds of millions of Indians across all 3 of our platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. So how do we make sure that we continue to play a meaningful role in India's decade, as well as be consequential to Meta globally as well. So when it comes down to what I'm thinking about and what my priorities are, we got together as a leadership team, and one of the things we absolutely talked about was this whole wave of digital transformation that's happening in our country and businesses coming online. How do we power that? So that's both small and big businesses, whether it's D2C brands that find a voice on our platform and grow their businesses on our platform, or startups, or whether it's small businesses. The second bit is around it has been so fun to also be part of this, which is all the stuff that you see on Reels and the creator economy. And we see that sort of come to life on our platform. India is supposed to have, 100 million creators, depending on which report you read.
And Reels has done, fairly well in the India market since it was set up in 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely.
It's almost like a case study, in a world which is, fancied by and obsessed with, let's say, a platform like TikTok. So how does, the HQ look at, the performance and the way in which Reels have performed in India?
So Reels in India has just exploded, and we continue to remain super thrilled with how we're not just providing meaningful experiences to users, but also to creators, and the growth that we're seeing on the platform. We just launched something called Made on Reels last month, which is again our attempt to make sure creators are able to monetize on our platform and we connect them with brands. So Reels is a big part of our priority, and will continue to. It's around freedom of giving people this canvas to express their creativity, but also connecting users to those experiences.
So Sandhya, if I were to ask you, what will be the new Meta India story? So how would you narrate that?
There is a Meta India story that is already very, very strong. We've done very well in this country so far in terms of the value that we've provided businesses and people who consume our platform and communities. So I would say my focus, along with my leadership team, is to make sure, like I said a little while ago, that we continue to power India's decade, that we play a consequential role in that. And that's through powering small businesses. That's through helping startups and large businesses find their best rupee spend and reach their audiences on our platform. That's through innovation. So we've done a lot of work around Metaverse in India. We have an XR fund here. India will have the world's largest base of developers. So how do we, make sure that we're funneling that back to global? So that would be, how do we play a role in that? And the third thing is just around business messaging. And I talked about it briefly when we talked about WhatsApp. But that's seriously on a tear. That's also a company priority. But I would say the sizes, whether you're a small or a large business, I'm seeing so much of innovation and action happen on business messaging and the use cases. Be it we're in Bangalore today. You can buy your metro tickets using WhatsApp, and that cuts your queues. That makes for a pretty awesome experience. So we're looking to do a lot more of that.
And what is expected out of the India market, like from the Meta HQ? So
Meta in India is one of the largest user bases that we have for the company globally. So India is a large market and consequential market for Meta already. I would say that from HQ and this work that just this past 6 months, I've had so many product teams come dedicated to India, come and spend time here with us and spend weeks with us. So I think the focus is really on making sure that the growth momentum that we've seen both on users and what we've seen on our revenue and the financial outcomes that we've had continue to be on an upward trajectory. So that's one. The second would be the kind of scale that India provides as a testing ground for any company is unparalleled and unmatched, right? India with its, with the stack that we've built as a country, all the innovation that's happening anyway organically in India, right? So I think a big focus for the HQ and definitely the conversations we've had also is how do we make India the crucible of innovation as well for Meta globally.
Okay. If you can also throw in or give in some insight on how has India market fared for Meta over the past couple of months, and in terms of revenue, what has been the advertising revenue been like over the past couple of months?
So we don't announce. You've seen our quarterly results, and you've seen how we've done as a company, and we're very pleased with those results. If I were to look at what we're doing, in India, look, there've been macroeconomic headwinds throughout, but I would say I'm very pleased with how resilient the India business has been.
On that note, it is time for a short break. This conversation will continue. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You're watching this Storyboard special, and joining me in a conversation is Meta India's Sandhya Devanathan. Now moving on, let's speak about Metaverse. Just when we thought that Metaverse is fading from the headlines, again we see something new coming up and bringing it back to headlines. Tell us how and what will be the future of Metaverse? Will we see its revival and the conversations around Metaverse making a big comeback in this year or maybe 2024?
Shibani, I would say that Metaverse is, as a company priority, we've never stopped investing in the Metaverse. And I would say that as a company, what we've always maintained is that the Metaverse is our vision of the embodied internet, but it's many years away. It's a decade away. So that hasn't changed. Our investments continue in the area. Even, in our quarterly earnings report, we talked about, that we would continue investing and doubling down on the Metaverse. So that stays. And I would say that, there's many, in fact, if you see the recent announcements, competition is jumping in as well. So I actually see that the Metaverse will be something that we will see continued investments in and continued innovation in, be it AR or be it, the longer term embodied internet vision that all of us have. Closer home, the way we're thinking about it is the investments we make in the developer ecosystem, because we want to make sure that Indian developers and startups are Metaverse ready and are, ride that wave as it comes. So we have just with Meti, we had an XROS fund. We have 40 startups on that fund, who are building for the Metaverse. And one stat which I want to leave with you because it's exciting for me is 20% of those startups are women-led and 30% of them come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this is not about just big city and, men building for the Metaverse. We hope to, while we do this, also build a more diverse Metaverse and more people building for that.
Tell us more about Meta's focus on AI and how does, Meta look at AI and generative AI and all the conversation around it?
I've been here, 8 years? And I would say this, AI has always been the underpinnings of what we've done as a company for a long time now. We also use AI very extensively in, the algorithms that we build, be it on, content that users see or in the ads that we serve. So it makes for a more richer, engaging experience. So I would say we've used AI very effectively thus far. But, coming to the new buzzword which everyone uses, and that's an exciting, it sort of changes the game, right? Generative AI completely. And that's been quite fascinating for us, for me definitely, to see what's happening in that field. And I would say for us as a company, the way we're thinking about it is twofold. One is what do we do with generative AI? We already do a lot around predictive AI, but what do we do with generative AI on platform? Which is how do we make the experiences richer? So if you're a small business that's struggling with creatives, can we make it easier for you to, build easy creatives using generative AI? Or, in the recommendations that we make. In fact, one of the things that we've done recently, and not related to Gen AI, just overall AI, is what you've seen on Reels and what you've seen on Instagram is that more than 40% of the content that you see doesn't come from friends and family, comes by, things that, recommendations made by our AI engine. It's also paying off in the financial, in in results that businesses are seeing. I think we've seen a 20% improvement using AI-generated ads, A plus AC, which is completely, driven by AI. So when we think about generative AI, I think it sort of steps that up even further for what our platform can do, given the reach we already have. The other bit that we're doing is more for the developer community and the ecosystem at large. We released our large language model. We open sourced it, Llama, and you will see, our investments we've made significant investments so far, and we'll continue to make significant investments.
Yeah. Sandhya, now let's speak about Facebook a bit. So will this be a year where, Facebook regains its past glory and lost form? We just announced that Facebook crossed 2 billion users. So I would say Facebook is very much here, very much powers communities, groups, and still is a place for you to connect with friends and family and, interest groups. So that's very much a part of, I think in India now, the last time we announced, we had more than 400 million users on Facebook. Yeah, it's sizable and growing. So moving forward, Sandhya, how would you like to, look at the future for Meta India, and what are the key headwinds and the key tailwinds that you see, when it comes to the future?
I also would like us to be consequential to Meta globally, right? So be it in terms of what we contribute in terms of users to Meta globally, or, products that we test. Reels was an India first, was for Meta launched in India first. So I'd love to see a lot more of that, like WhatsApp business apps. So those were all India first and were designed with India in mind. And I'd like to see a lot more of that come out of India, and I'm quite confident we can do that. And I think at the end of it, I also want the team here to have, the best experience that they could have had, right? Like you're growing, you're doing amazing things, you're working with, you're doing terrific partnerships. So I think we have a big role to play there. So that's why we've invested continually in things like, for example, on small businesses, we've invested in skilling, where we've committed to train 10 million small businesses across the country. We have, 250,000 creators, which we've crossed, by the way. We've surpassed the 250,000 creators. Or, the lending programs that we've done with our partners. So I want us to think about also, our role in our communities and how we can amplify our impact.
At one end, there is a trimmed down team as compared to what Meta India used to be. So what is the big ambition or goal that you have?
I actually think, our ambition and our goal doesn't... in fact, the opportunity that India offers is awesome and massive. And for us as a market, that doesn't change. Be it, the GDP growth that we're seeing in the country, be it the number of people that are getting digitally enabled. We're talking about, 400 million consumers, people buying on the internet by 2025. So all of these are, big tailwinds for the Indian market and for Meta. The second thing I'd like to talk about is just the ad penetration. So if you look at the ad penetration as a percentage of GDP, India is nowhere near, markets like the US, which is at like 1.9%, and we're sub 1%. So there is a lot of headroom. So there is headroom that will come because there's a lot of transformation that's happening in our country and a lot of digitally enabled, commerce that will happen. The second headroom that will happen is because, the ad spends as a percentage are low, and that will increase. The third is just our platform. We still connect hundreds of millions of people across the country. That's not going to change, and that opportunity is there and remains. So far, I've spent 6 months here. I've seen every day how we deliver the best value for rupee when a business puts a rupee with us. And whether you're small or big, you want to see a return. That doesn't change, and I'm hoping that continues to strengthen over the next few years, and we're the best value for a rupee or a dollar that the business can spend.
Well, all the best for that, and thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for sharing these insights with us, Sandhya.
Thank you so much, and really enjoyed this conversation.
Pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.